just gotta, you just gotta want something and then let yourself have it.
Let yourself have it. I can't get the timbre of her voice. Let yourself have it.
It's like, yeah, she's like, you gotta want something, and let yourself have it. It's like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll be able. I'll do that during. I'll do it during the review. Because it's fucking hysterical to me. That line makes no fucking sense at all. But we'll get into that. That.
Hello there. How's it going, my friend? Well met. Or should I say? Hello, Alec. Are you there?
Sorry, I was like, I don't know. What am I doing with this mask on? I can't see anything. What's going on?
This is great. I can't wait to do a reaction.
I was possessed by the blue spirit.
Yeah. Well, welcome, one and all, actually, to our brand new series for the month of October.
Yeah, we're doing a new. This is kind of a. Can I just say, like, of all the film series and everything we've been doing, this is like, it's different than everything we've done before because this is like a made-for-TV film series.
It's certainly different. Yeah.
it's definitely different. I'll tell you. Tell you that the budget's a lot smaller. It's
But it's
also look, I can't see anything underneath this, so I'm gonna take it off. But yes, I'm the blue spirit. As you can see, it's Halloween. It's Halloween time, and that's what we're here to do. We're gonna be doing a month-long sort of celebration. We'll be dressing up. We always do that every year. We have in the past. We want to continue that tradition because it's fun.
Of course, and in the spirit of Halloweentown, everybody's kind of got the look as if they're just Halloweentown is a series I grew up on when I was young. Me, my sister especially, would also watch all these movies, and so we thought it'd be fun. I don't think it's been years since I watched them, and Alec has never watched them. So
I've never watched them at all, and they. Well, we got things started off real strong here. Oh, it's me underneath, by the way. Oh my gosh, we get things started off really real strong, or I don't know if we get it real strong. I actually don't know. I still don't really know exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel the same charm that I felt growing up. I still feel that it's there.
The charm is like exuding. That's one thing I'll say about this movie so much. That's kind of the thing it has going for it the most. The plot kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's not that it doesn't make sense, but it's like the mechanics of the magic, how magic works, make no sense to me. And when everything's hinged on that, it's kind of annoying to follow. But I can really jive with that with the low budget charm of the movie, and it's like that to me is what makes it so enjoyable to watch. I didn't grow up watching too many DComs, but this is like one of the really early ones, I think, isn't it?
I mean, this was early 2000s, right? I mean, this is a classic.
I think it was I think it was early. I think it was 90. I think this one was 98.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't look up the year.
I think it was not. Yeah, I think this was 1998, and I think it's like the third or second or third DCOM, I believe, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely get it. You definitely get a sense that they don't have much of a budget for it. So
but it still stands the test of time, or stands above a lot of the rest still in comparison. It's growing up, I love this movie. Even watching it back years later, I can remember a lot of the scenes as they were happening, and even just the inflection of her voice. When you want something, you gotta want something, and let yourself have it.
Yeah. It's Oh, you gotta want something, and then let yourself have it. She's like going crazy.
I love her.
She's like going crazy. I mean, they're flying, so they're. Oh, she's great. Grandma's great. She's played by Carrie Fisher's mother, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but That's
feel like I knew that at some
I can't
point,
remember her
but-
name. Yeah, I can't remember her name off the top of my head now, but yeah, it's like
She's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, Grandma's great.
She's a
Grandma's
star.
an amazing character. I don't
Agatha?
what's her name? Agatha. Yeah, great witch name, by the way.
Right.
Great witch name. Yeah. But how? Boy, like, where do you begin?
Where to begin? Personally,
I mean,
my
yeah.
favorite thing about this movie is the music. I love the music. That little theme.
It's
It's so charming.
I don't. So I like Mark Mothersbaugh. He's done a lot of music of my childhood. Rugrats being one primary thing. I think wasn't he in? Wasn't Mark Mothersbaugh involved in? What's the band he was in? Wasn't it? I want to say Oingo Boingo, but I don't think that's right. I think that's the other film composer, Danny Elfman. Maybe Mark Mothersbaugh was in that too. I don't know, but I think he was involved in some band like that. But then he got scoring children's TV, and some of it is very grating on me, having not grown up with it. There was some of it that was just like, oh my gosh, just
I'm not
use a
hearing
real
that.
instrument.
I'm not hearing that.
Use a real instrument.
You gotta
for
hit.
once.
You gotta hit that. Dun, 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 dun.
Yo, well, you can tell right away that it's composed by him. Like, immediately. I'm like, what in the name of Rugrats is this? You immediately can tell it's him. I think that's
I
great.
love it. It feels like home. It feels like like when I'm playing Paper Mario and I hear the music. It's like the same feeling.
It's like home.
I could hear this in like a video game too. I feel like that could be a little fun little town.
It's very whimsical. He has a very like whimsical style in terms of his composition style. So so that, I understand that. I think it's just a tad grating to me at times. It's almost to me like if they just tuned the audio balance down just a little bit, it would have been a little less annoying. But regardless, yeah, it's fun. It's fun music. Boy, I don't know where I was like. Okay, so let's just general plot description is that we have our 13-year-old protagonist.
Yes, Marnie.
Whose name Marnie. When Marnie Was There is a much better movie than this, but we're not here to talk about that. Marnie is 13 and she loves Halloween, and it's interesting because like I almost feel like she should have been like. Maybe she's just too young, but I feel like if this had kept going on, she would have been in a goth phase, Mm-hmm. She's talking about like how like you're summoning demons and the powers of darkness, and she's talking about like pentagrams and things like that.
It's hard to be in the goth phase because her mom is so overbearing. She doesn't want her to have a real childhood and go trick-or-treating like the regular kids.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Her mom is very overbearing. She has a younger brother who's the man of the house because this is a Disney movie, so one of the parents has to be dead by law. And also a little sister, I think she's probably my favorite character in the whole movie. she's just a little peach. I love her.
Sophie,
she's just a perfect little kid.
And she's like the little plot device where she's like always like figures something out or. A little bit of a magical touch here or there. Yeah, it's almost like her potency is more than even Marnie. Marnie's trying really hard, but like Marnie's Goku and Sophie is Gohan vibes. Where
sure.
Sophie's gonna overpower Marnie one day, but then Marnie will ultimately take over.
She's not allowed to go trick-or-treating. Mom's just puts up a fuss about it.
Yeah.
And then this thing actually actively bothered me, where like Grandma comes to visit and then they all have dinner, and she's like, all right, time to go to bed. And I'm like, it's like 7:00 at night, Mom.
Well,
how lame is that?
Yeah, and she was like, every time you come in, there's this chaos. And the chaos she talked about is just like they're having a little bit of fun. Like a little bit. Yeah. It wasn't anything like, crazy happening.
Yeah, Grandma just like brings a little bit of candy,
a couple decorations, and then
and that's like, chaos according to Mom.
And of course, it's supposed to feel like, oh wow, this mom is like too much.
Yeah.
But then you find the reason for it. Still probably too much, but it's like you at least get a reason for why she's doing
it's like
it.
it's pretty over the top. Mom's lacking a little bit of nuance. She's sort of like, though she's got a thing with the mayor. That's the thing that's
right.
kind of
Calabar.
fun. There's a Calabar, the mayor.
Perfect
He's got big plans for Halloweentown. We haven't really learned. I don't know why no one challenges him on. Oh, like what? What are you doing?
Well, we figure out at the end what his big plans
I mean,
were.
we do figure out what his big plans were. But he just vaguely says
Very
that.
is Palpatine-esque, right?
Yeah, Palpatine-esque. Yeah.
He was like he's full blown Palpatine in that other form, and he's very much Palpatine that he like puts on this front, and he is a political figure. You know, that's I just get that vibe.
Yeah, that's George Lucas clearly was inspired in the prequel trilogy for
that's right.
Halloweentown.
I think he was, and it begs the question. No, but to bring it back to the household, yeah, like the mom is too much, but at the same time, it's like you can't compare it to like a regular household. There is straight up a whole magical element involved, you know, a whole line of witchcraft.
Like, she's really trying to strict this down, you know.
Yeah.
She wants to make sure that everyone's normal because she couldn't be or something.
Yeah, we don't know her exact motivation. Like this idea. I mean, even the idea of like they were born here in the human world. You'll be humans. That's kind of like it's like whoa. That's a little racy almost. Like you're denying a little bit of their heritage, and you're not letting them even explore what they want to do. It's like okay, maybe I'm out on her.
Which is kind of cool because like grandma's really open-minded. She's like yeah, you can kind of decide what you want, but like really you need to know like your roots. You know, it's not allowed to by mom, but she basically almost completely is just like yeah, you guys are without directly telling them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because she brings up this this book, that story time that shows Halloweentown and everything. It's very fantastical. But she's basically like will never explicitly say it's not real. You know, she's not gonna lie to them straight up.
Right.
She's like, you know, I read it in a book. That's all
so
I'll say.
Yeah, and then the boy is like, oh, because he's like, I'm Mr. Man here.
He's a nerdy boy who's like. Kind of like a teacher's pet, suck up kind of for his mom.
He is, but he's also the man of the house, right? He's like trying to be because his dad's gone. He's gonna step up, and like he's trying to be a little bit more mature than he. He's got I'm decisive. I'm the man. Like I kind of like that little thing. I didn't like all the nerd stuff. That was all kind of annoying. It's just like the annoying little brother kind of trope, but. Yeah, I did like that was the one moment where he was like, "Dad's not here, so I gotta take care of things," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah, it's a nice little thing." But
there's something immediately endearing about Agatha when she comes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think she's just fun. I don't know, she's just like.
Well, yeah, she's the fun grandmother kind of.
Yeah.
But then there's this whole like little like mystery element to it before you figure out. And then they're all looking out the window, and then they see this bus stop magically appear, and this bus comes on down.
Oh, her bag. That was just your bag. And he's like, is that remote controlled?
That's one of those remote controlled models.
I was like, wah, wah. And I was like, that's kind of... there's also that joke about like, oh, that's later, but it's like, that's what I get for using instant.
I was like that.
I was like, oh my gosh.
She does have this quote that I think is actually good, and where she says, "Being normal is vastly overrated." And I'm like, I think that would resonate with a lot of young people watching this movie too. I feel like it's like let your freak flag fly, except more tasteful. But basically, Marnie comes before this. She comes down and she's like eavesdropping on them talking in the kitchen, arguing. As they always do. Every year they argue. But
oh my gosh, they're just
she hears about on a witch's 13th birthday. It should be mark the end of their training. but
Yeah.
she could lose her powers if she's not trained properly now or whatever.
Right. Just wow. You imagine if it's like a Jedi Knight sort of thing where it's like wow, if you're too old, it's gonna be a lot harder. In this one, it's like if you're too old, you literally can't do it. She's gonna lose her powers.
Yeah, were they implying that like once Halloween ended, like then that would have been it? She would have lost them. Or was it
I think so. Yeah, I think it was sort of Halloween. Yeah, the 13th. Her 13th Halloween is what Grandma said. So.
But then I think where the movie shines is when you go into Halloweentown, and then it's just like this these crazy characters all over the place.
Here's the thing: they all just it's all just goofy little costumes. That's all. Everyone's wearing just like goofy little costumes with like little masks or or big masks or.
It's literally like a town of people as if they were wearing costumes, because you have to varying degrees people that have like completely. They're like pumpkin heads. There's ugly people, and then there's just like human people with like fangs or like a wig. Yeah. It's like,
or just people wearing costumes, which is why I guess that's the thing with witches and warlocks. I guess they are basically they look very they're pretty human-ish, so they can kind of but they wear the costumes to fit in, But that you're a Cromwell.
Yeah, they can pass as human, basically. The other ones can't.
Yeah.
But it's so wild, because you got everything. You have monsters, you got skeletons, you got ghosts, you got just a random... you got a shrub.
I found Boney, or whatever his name was. His name is not Benny. Boney, but I found Benny. I found him very upsetting.
He was upsetting.
I would tell. Yes, I did not like his. I did not like his eyebrows undulating. It's because your skull doesn't move like that. I would have been fine if it was just that. I would have been fine if he was just doing that, but I hate him just doing like.
I kind of like it. Like
I didn't really like it. I like it extremely. I didn't really like that, but he's fun. I mean, he's fun. He's fun. He's kind of not stop motion, but animatronic or like puppeted characters are always like fun in movies like this. So yeah, I mean, it was fun.
And that's when Dylan, the little boy, was like, "Yeah, he's probably an animatronic." Disneyland has a lot of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then she mentions like, "Oh yeah, because Abraham Lincoln, walked up, talked, and drove us somewhere or something like that." Like she made a thing about the Abraham Lincoln, which is like, if you've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World. You can, if you through I don't remember if it's called the Hall of Presidents or whatever, but it's like that still is kind of an impressive thing to see. I mean, it's very basic compared to like all the other glitz and glamour that they have there now, but like you can still kind of really appreciate the technological, like how impressive it was that they had an animatronic actually stand up. Like it just is it's very cool from a seated position. So, yeah, but anyway.
But I just like that all bets are off in this world. It's like everything from the monsters, the ghosts, to a random shrub, and then there's just like dogs working out.
Okay.
Just dogs.
Okay, and I wanted to mention this because I was like, yeah, well, no, never mind. I'll get into that later because let's keep kind of going with the plot. But yeah, you're introduced to this whimsical world of Halloweentown, which, by the way, is Halloweentown. They say it's a separate world. And they always talk about how it's a separate world, but is it all we see? Is it just a? It's called Halloweentown. Is it just a town?
That's the impression I get.
It's just a small little town.
Yeah, because I don't think we've ever heard anyone say like they're gonna leave the town, at least yet.
Yeah.
I personally because I remember seeing all the movies, but I don't remember what happens in the other movies. So I don't know if they expand on it or if it is just the town.
Is it Halloweentown in Halloween Land in Halloween Worlds? Or is it just like a Kingdom Hearts world where it's really, really tiny and then it's just like, oh, okay, you gotta... Yeah. Okay.
And it's,
or it's just a single town.
There's a fair population to it from what we saw in those huge
I was going to say...
people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like town center. It literally looks like just a town in like Central California, which is probably where they filmed it. Or like even in the Midwest, it's like a Midwest town square kind of. It's not a whole lot of frills. what do you think of the Brooms? I thought the Brooms were like they literally just took props department was like, let's just buy a bunch of $10 brooms. We'll put a little fancy like decorations on it.
Yeah, the Brooms. I feel like, they kind of phoned the Brooms in, but
oh yeah,
like here's our T90 5000 model. This is a super fancy one,
like,
but it's like that looks just like a plastic cheap broom.
It's just a plastic broom.
It doesn't look like a fancy model.
No,
but
freaking,
the sales guy.
Oh yeah, the sales guy who's like a corpse. He's like a zombie sort of or something. I don't know what he is exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. That's part of the charm of the movie is like every time you turn around, there's like this weird new creature you're finding.
Yeah,
and it's like it doesn't have to make a lot of sense. You know, it's just we're in Halloweentown, so it's just like anything goes.
Right, that part doesn't really. That's just part of the whimsy. That's part of the magic, kind of, you know. But speaking of magic, I want to know how the magic works in this world because it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense.
You just gotta want something. Let yourself have it. Or you need to say, keep it keen, keep it geared, keep it doom.
Yeah, and then boom, bing, bang, boom. Or to hum.
Yeah, everybody hold hands with the magical family member. And
the magical family members just hold hands and hum, and they want Calabar dead, so he loses. But I feel like he wanted everything a lot more than any of them did.
Yeah, they give a half-hearted.
Like arguably, he's been working to this plan for like a long time. He's like crawled his way up to mayor of this town, and I don't know. It's just that kind of it's so vague, and it's like it's a kids movie. It's fine, I guess, but like they better expand on that more. I feel like they have to. Like, you can't just do that every time, you know, because it's like. Especially because it's like, oh, well, she just didn't want it enough, and it's like she didn't seem like she acted like she wanted it more. There was something. I think it was with the staff thing.
Merlin's talisman.
Something. Yeah, or something. I remember there was something. I can't remember the specifics, but I do remember thinking like, it was like, oh, and then she's like, I just gotta remember what Grandma said about like wanting it more, and then she like concentrated like a little more, and then it worked, and it was like, she didn't seem like she really wanted it that much more. It was like,
it's very precise.
Yeah, it's like you just gotta want it the right amount, and then you can kind of have it happen, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's fine, it's cute, but it is a little lame when you just defeat the bad guy just by humming.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of lame, the ending. But yeah, when we go into Halloweentown, we should also preface that it was from the beginning. Agatha came to her daughter basically saying that she needed help. She needed a Cromwell.
Right.
Cromwell
she needed a Cromwell to help, yeah.
And she didn't want to help. So she's like, there's plenty of wizards and warlocks in Halloweentown. And she's like, you know, people just don't want to get involved these days. You know, I asked. But then we get into the town and introduces like this little mystery plot of like people are turning evil or bad. Mean. Yeah,
they're turning mean. I think is what they said. They're going mean, and I'm like, oh no! It's like, and then you sort of come across some. Yeah, well, especially because Benny goes mean, and we see him go mean, and it's like kind of scary. Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to mention. Mm-hmm. Is this a hate crime? Or it's just like he's a skeleton man, right? But then they immediately are like, "Hey, dog, here's the dog. Go fetch!" And it's like he just breaks his arm off, and it's like, "Is that a hate crime?" I feel like that's a hate crime.
Anything goes when you start going bad, or mean like that.
I guess so, yeah. When you're going mean, yeah.
But I like how they teased a nice lady that Agatha knew in town, and then you see her later, and it's like,
yeah, she's like terrifying. It's just like it's really, really unsettling, kind of.
But I do like how she just makes that face, and then she just kind of goes about her business. Though she's like walks forward.
Is there like a musical? There's like a musical sound effect with that too, right?
Yeah,
isn't that kind of like almost like a jump scare sound effect that goes along with it?
And it is like a little like a slow down effect.
Oh yeah.
But. Are they just mean? Like, it's like she wasn't like trying to, I'm gonna go kill somebody. She's just like, and then kept going.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing was like they go mean and then they disappear, is the thing.
True.
That's the twist. It's like, oh, they go mean and then they disappear.
I don't know.
And you find out.
But why is the meanness necessary? Like,
I think it's so because as we find out, so Calabar is the mayor. We meet Calabar and he introduces himself and he's like, oh, he's kind of friendly and he's sort of welcoming to them and he's sort of just telling them like, oh, I've got big plans for this place now, and then he kind of goes off and does his own thing. He's got like a walking stick, which is pretty cool, which is his warlock staff. And then he kind of goes away for a bit. But then mom shows back up again because mom comes and because she finds out that the kids were tricked her. Yeah, she's like, oh, they snuck out, and she was like, oh, grandma stole them away, and or my mom stole them away. So she goes back and she gets to Halloweentown and then is like, oh, we gotta get back. And then there's this really stupid, awful sequence that I kind of hate, where the two-headed man is talking and arguing with each other. and they're like, oh yeah, the bus, I don't know, I guess it's coming or something. It'll be a few hours away. And yeah, a few hours. Why are you drinking coffee? What are you doing that to me? And I'm like, oh my God. I was just like, are they trying to do an Abbott and Costello routine? Because this is like the worst one I've ever heard. But yeah, anyway, so then they go meet the mayor because they're like, the smart kid is like, oh, wow, the mayor's a real nice guy. He could probably he can help us. And so they go and you find out, ooh, mom and Calabar have a history of some sort. Where he's like, I was always very interested in you.
But ultimately, they end up going to this theater. So what do you remember? What caused them to go there? What caused them to go there initially? Because Agatha ran into the boy, right?
Oh yeah, so the boy, Luke, who they call him Wiener Boy at one point too. Where the guy calls him like he's a wiener or something like that, and then the little girl calls him Wiener Boy from there on the rest of the movie.
He's the only boy who looks like a regular teenage punk in the whole town. And
he's kind of like he also like weirdly asks. Oh yeah, he like asks her out in a weird way. He's like, I'm the big cheese around here.
Literally the big cheese. He says,
I'm the big cheese. Yeah, I'm the big cheese. So like, let's go around, and he's like, yeah, well, I smelled something stinky.
Must have been the big
cheese. Yeah, there's some big sass in this, and then I think Grandma's like, you'll have to do it later, and then the little boy's like, that means never. And I was like, dang, there's a lot of snark in this. It's like this legitimate. It's 90s snark, and I'm kind of here for it. Like there's Luke. I think brings Grandma in. He brings Agatha into the theater. I don't remember how the rest of them found. I think they were in the mayor's office, and I think they look outside and they see Luke like basically taking Grandma to come in. Now, as we find out later, Calabar is the bad guy. He's manipulating everyone. I think it's his dark magic, is my guess, is like making people go mean, and then he's freezing them in time to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's to use them as like I don't know, as like a battery to like get to transport Halloweentown to get to the. It's kind of vague in terms of like what he's doing there. Also, what's vague is what is the whole point of the entire theater, and like his like he like comes out of like a portal and then he like goes back into the portal. Yeah, he's like he's like waving his arms around like really. I mean, I get it's like he's putting up an act to be like dramatic or whatever, but it's like, why did you need to go to that trouble? You could literally just like come out of the theater and be like, it's like you could be like the Phantom of the Opera at that point. You can kind of like skulk around in the theater.
Like, is it a projection or is it like his actual form, like an actual different form of himself
or something? Because he's like, he's afraid of the light or something, as Marty recognizes. He can't go in the light, but then it's like he's out in the light in the middle of the day towards the end of the movie, and then
he's so powerful the light at that point, of course, Alec.
And then the light. Okay, sure. And then the light. Oh yeah, well he does absorb 2 Cromwells or whatever. So I guess maybe that's it. And so anyway, so then she has the light, the Merlin's thing, and it shines. The light shines from the pumpkin in the center of town, and that reveals him as Calabar, and then all the townspeople freak out. But it also reveals Luke too. Luke
It
is
does reveal Luke. Okay, this. A couple things. We did skip over. They did go on a little side quest.
Oh yeah, the side quest is actually really fun.
It's
I
actually
like
fun,
the side quest. That was fun.
This,
I like that.
Now thinking about it now, I'm like, oh, this could be like a fun video game, like just like Halloweentown, doing like Halloween related little missions like that. But yeah, they had to get hair of a werewolf, sweat of a ghost, and a tooth of a vampire, right? And they get into some shenanigans there. So they go to the barber, who is a werewolf, and they freaking shave a part of his. They had to do this whole elaborate thing about how she pretending to want a part-time job and all that.
Really, at that point, you could have just walked up behind him and just done it.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to.
You also didn't have to do him that dirty, did you? Like just
yeah. Really, how much hair did you? I guess the spell didn't say how much, or the potion ingredient didn't say how much you needed, really. But
you just need to balance it with enough want. If you want something.
I guess so. Yeah. But that is another thing too, is that she Marnie was like distracting with like, oh, yeah, turn the hairdryer on, but it's like she couldn't have known that was a flamethrower. She doesn't act genuinely surprised by the fact that it's a flamethrower, or like upset by it.
She was not surprised. It was like, almost like it was all part of her plan to like foolishly turn on the fire feature. But
how did you know how that would you do that?
A little weird, and also a little weird that Dylan shaved the back of his head, and then the guy looks in the mirror, which only sees the front of him, and he's like, "Oh, this could work for me." Like, it's the same.
What do you mean this look?
It's the exact same.
I mean, do you mean are you gonna try like shaving all the way up, and then you'll have like your ears, and it'll be?
You didn't even see what part was shaved. You only saw the front, which is the same.
Yeah,
that's fine. But then the ghost shenanigans was weird. It was just like a transparent human person, and Dylan. This was Dylan's, where he just kept making jokes, making fun of him, and then Sophie was being very distasteful and running around with a sheet over her head.
Well, that was another thing too, is that like, did they really need that? Like, they could have he was locked in there, so like, they could have just turned the heat up and made him sweat, and he would have been just like, stop, no, and they would have been able to get it anyway.
Next thing you know, you cut, and he's a different person. He lost all his weight. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, he sweat it all out, I guess, somehow.
Crazy how things work. And his voice was already really high pitched, and it just became even more high pitched after he slimmed down. Very interesting. And then the tooth from this dentist. There's some very weird sexual tension going on between the tooth fairy and this vampire.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, and she had this weird voice. She's like, oh, it won't hurt, will it? He's like, and then you get the shot looking up on his big old schnoz.
Yeah, it's like, no, it won't. He's like, no,
I am the tooth fairy after all.
Yeah, and then he tears the tooth out, and then it's the least convincing blacked out tooth I've seen in my entire life. Like, you can literally see the like, they literally just took like a little Sharpie and just like, but you can still see it like shining bright as day. So it's like okay, they didn't even try. But it's fun that they get the tooth. They're able to get it out because she was disguised as like the aide or something of the tooth fairy. Mm-hmm. So
they got that. They got it all together. They go to the cauldron. Marnie can't remember the spell, but Sophie, of course, comes in clutch, remembers it.
She heard it literally once, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I made up a song to remember it." And it's like, is this kid like a savant or something? Like I feel like
she's like a prodigy, but also,
it's like, wow,
she did not make up a song, right? Wasn't that just the spell? Like, I feel like when she recited, it was like just the spell again.
It was, she didn't sing it. I don't know. Maybe the little actress couldn't really sing.
I made up a song.
Come up with a song, and she just says it. She just says it normally.
That works.
Yeah. So they get the ingredients for the spell to reveal all, and then they bring it to the pumpkin, and
you gotta put it in the jack-o'-lantern and take it.
The jack-o'-lantern at the center of Halloweentown. So
but of course she struck down right there before, but then you gotta want it and let yourself have it, and then she dies, and it lands perfectly upright. Boom, done deal. But then there was the moment of he gets it back. He yanks it out of there.
He gets it back. It was pretty it was quite a cool like I'm the villain like he's got the power. Like it's kind of a cool moment he gets. By the way, like when people have to like act in this, it's just it's a delight because they're just hamming it up like so hard, and it's just like it's kind of fun. Like the thing that's why Grandma's really fun. That's why Agatha's great, and that's why Calabar's great because they're both kind of just hamming it up and having a good time.
And something I really respect about Calabar as a villain is he's not like deceiving the people saying like he's doing it for good. He straight up says that evil it will be better than good. You know, he's like
evil is better than good.
He's not trying to deceive like, oh, I'm clearly doing evil things, but it's all good. Like it's for good reasons or something.
It's like
no, just evil is better than good. I'll say it. No one else will.
Yeah, I'll say it. Nobody else is brave enough to say it, but I will. And then he's like, and so his whole plan is to wreak havoc in the human world, to head back. They've kept us down for so long. We had to leave
because it's the whole backstory of Halloweentown.
Right. They had to leave because humans hated the witches and everything, but they're like, no, we got to take it back. We'll go back and we'll take over that world. So. That's his plan, which is like pretty impressive if they are able to pull it off. I mean, the human world doesn't have like magic, I guess, but they do have like, I don't know, nuclear weapons. So it'd be kind of a town versus the world seems like a lot.
Where you get hung up with nukes and weapons is that you're fighting someone wanting something. All right,
yeah,
and if you want something enough, you just let yourself have it. So if he wants the nukes, he'll have them.
Yeah, he'll have them. He is. He'll have the codes, and Bill Clinton won't because Clinton was the president at this time.
Yeah,
he's
no
screwed.
amount of strategy will help you out of that. It's like they just keep wanting. They want so hard.
Yeah, it's like they keep changing the codes on me.
I want it to not be that code now.
The nuclear codes. I don't. Wait, what were they again? What were they? They keep changing them on me.
He wants them to be different.
He lets them have
it.
Lets them have it. I don't appreciate that.
So they did have a little moment right before Calabar's defeat in the whole. Where he thinks he sees Marnie in the crowd, but it's Luke in her cloak, and when he flips him over, he's like, "I fooled you, I got you." That's a cool moment where he, Luke changes his mind because that's one thing too is that Luke was like, "I didn't realize he was gonna hurt her. He just said he wanted the talisman." It's like, bro, you ask why and where are you, right? Yeah, where are you? You're in a theater where he's done this to like a bunch of townspeople. Maybe so here's the thing. Maybe maybe the reason he's freezing the townspeople is because they're people that found out the secret. Maybe it doesn't really explain. I don't know. Yeah, but they're all the people that are also turned mean, so it's not like. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, once the reveal happens and you see that Luke is actually this. Did they say what is like a specific race that he is, or I can't remember. He's like I don't know. I think they said at one point, but I don't really remember because they mentioned earlier on that he was like, he had like face surgery done or something. Nose job. Yeah, he had a nose job. Yeah, nose job. Yeah, and he does. He's got this big, ugly, goofy looking nose. But here's where they lost me. He did this for Calabar because he said he would make him look handsome. Yeah. But when in Halloweentown has being handsome ever been like a standard to look for? Yeah. This is the town where everybody is ugly. There's like pumpkin heads, there's shrubs, there's dogs. It's like no one's like, "Oh, he's ugly." In comparison to anything else here. Particularly I think the most terrifying thing in the entire movie, speaking of ugly, is we cut to the gym where he's in the sauna and it hard cuts to this lady. It's the most horrifying. Like I'm actually scared by it. Like it's like she's just in horrendous. She's in like horrendous cat makeup. Yes. And she's just like in this skin tight thing. Right. She's like, I'm like, I don't like it. Makes me very, very uncomfortable. There's a lot of that in this like world where it's like some stuff is cute and other things like, oh my god. world.
Some of it's really legitimately upsetting.
But that's the whole point. I mean, the town is like everybody.
It's Halloweentown,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not going to be judged for your looks on this weird.
Right, yeah.
So it's
weird.
like maybe you spend too much time in the mortal world. Maybe, like if he's spending a lot of his time out there, maybe you want to look attractive.
Yeah.
Because they talked about it like on the bus. There were people talking about how they were like in the mortal world.
Yeah.
They made some weird references. I forget what they said. A couple of them, but yeah. So they do have some sort of interaction with the mortal world. Even the weird looking ones still do go in the mortal world from time to time.
So we did mention earlier the Abraham Lincoln standing animatronic, but there's some other like classic Disney references in there too. I can't remember. I think one of them was on the bus, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
and then so the power of the Cromwells defeats him. They all stand hand in hand. You got a little tease of that Dylan had some magic too in his fingertips.
Yeah, he's a warlock apparently. Yeah. So he joins the crew.
So they defeated him, and then the mother says that Grandma is going to come live with us now. Like she just decides. But Agatha has been living in the same house for 200 years. Haven't you heard? Like
It was a little confusing to me as well. But maybe it was just like, oh well, she wants to be with her grandkids and by her grandkids. So I get that. Like my parents have been talking about moving. They've literally lived around in New England their entire lives. But they're talking about moving down to Virginia, just up and leaving all the rest of the family and their friends that are around, just so they could spend time with their grandkids. So it's like, okay, I guess I get that.
But the grandma didn't decide that though. Like the mom just assumed like, okay, well, she's gonna come live with us now.
Yeah, but maybe she'll either weekend or maybe she'll like spend her summers in Halloweentown. So.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just 200 years she spent in that same house. You'd think she might have some reservations about it, but we'll see.
We'll see going forward. I mean, Halloweentown 2: Calabar's Revenge is coming up after this.
I forgot that's the subtitle.
That is the subtitle. So
you'll know what to expect.
It kind of ruins it when you knew that. That was like the one title I knew. Because for some reason I remember the marketing for Halloweentown 2 was like crazy. And like I didn't watch any of these movies, but
they go crazy with that
growing up. But yeah, I think I seem to remember them going pretty hard on the marketing for Calabar's Revenge.
But I mean, I remembered as I was watching, I remembered most of the plot points. I knew that he was the bad guy. And I mean, they're not too shy about it anyway. But
no.
So it was very nostalgic reliving some of these, and I know there are still some nostalgic moments to come, so I think that's in the next one especially.
Yeah.
But so what are your thoughts overall on Halloweentown as someone watching it in the year 2022, fully grown?
It's charming. I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to my favorite DCOM, which is Johnny Tsunami. This to me, like, it's only like an hour and 20 minutes or something. Like, I feel like it's got to be a new Halloween tradition to watch this. It's fun.
It doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, it's in and out. It's quick. There's a campy charm to all the like low budget. Like, I mean, I think to me the low budget stuff is kind of what makes this movie just fun and charming. Because I can appreciate that. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something that's like really kind of cute about it. So it's fun. I don't think it's like, I don't know about standing the test of time, but I think it's a kind of a nostalgic look back, and I can see why. It's dear to many people.
I mean, there's a surprising amount of like fun things to get into and talking about this movie. For a short movie and a not very serious movie. Oh.
I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One, so Luke and Marty end up together, I guess, at the end because she thinks he's cool because she's always wanted, like, she thinks weird. She's like, oh yeah, she's like her grandma, where she thinks weird is cool, and it doesn't matter that he's ugly because he was sweet in the end, but he's got this giant schnoz. So she can't really like like kiss him. So she just kind of like gives a little peck on the cheek, which I guess makes sense because they were at odds the whole movie. It'd be weird if they started like, I don't know, making out in a kids film. But
Did they give a little kiss on the cheek? Yeah.
A little kiss on the cheek, and it's like, oh, okay. But man, that schnoz. I'm assuming he comes back in the next one, in the next ones or next one.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Luke. Also, he has a really normal name. Because is there going to be like a thing between them? Like, oh, are they going to like, oh, is it like world-crossed lovers, Halloweentown, and a witch? Are they going to eventually come live in Halloweentown? I mean, there's so many questions that I have for the future. But
yeah, I mean, there's 4 movies total, so
I know. I know.
Definitely stuff to get into there. Now, what?
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with Disney Plus because I am 100% certain when this aired, it was aired in 4:3 aspect ratio. And this movie's widescreen on Disney Plus, which means that you're dealing with people that are this close to the frame all the time, and it's really upsetting.
I mean, love it.
Not like upsetting, I'm saying. I hate it. I hate it. It's like there's times where it's like people are taking up like this much of the screen, and I'm like, back up a little bit, please.
A little spooky. It's
because it's because they have to use this pan and scan technique, and I get it, but it's just annoying that like I would like to watch this in its original aspect ratio. I'd like to do that. Disney, please do that for some of these older shows and movies and things. I think Johnny Tsunami's still in 4:3. If it's not, that's stupid. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did that. Why they it's not easily accessible that way. So my guess is that you have to watch like a DVD or something to get that. Yeah, probably.
Now, what score would you give it out of 10?
I mean, like it's not like wowing me. It's fun, but it's not like an amazing movie or anything. But it's fun. It's cute. It's a harmless like kids movie. The low budget charm is really really cute and fun, and that's the part of it that I really liked. Kind of seeing like what new kind of thing they were what like new creature was gonna be around the next turn, and I'd probably give it like a 7. I think it's not wowing me. It's not like my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's cute. It's fun. It's fun to sort of like when you're an adult and you're kind of having like when you have like this analytical mind to it. It's fun to sort of ask questions of the movie as well. So that makes it watchable because some parts of it just don't make sense. So that's also fun. That also elevates the score.
But you can suspend your disbelief also because it's magic. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let yourself have it.
Yeah, let yourself have it.
Let yourself have a good thing in this world. It's Halloweentown. If you want it, you have it. All right. It's an 8.5. It's an 8.5. Look, I'm not going to compare it to Psycho or Hateful Eight, you know. But on it, in terms of what it's doing, I think it excels, and it's great, and it's like a fun little world. And when I talk about loving Halloween vibes, you know, it's got a lot of that in there, you know, just the feeling. It's like the season is in there.
We didn't, I guess we didn't get into this. This movie does feel like Halloween. It's got like the leaves, it's got kind of like the cool temp vibes, people all walking around in costumes, and it's definitely got the vibes of Halloween. It does deliver on that, and gotta commend it for that at least. So yeah, I agree with you there.
And it's a lot of fun moments. Definitely one that would be fun to watch every year, and we did for a while for sure. Now I don't know. Maybe I put myself in a corner here. I would suspect that the first one was the best, but maybe the second one comes out and it's like better than the first one, and then that kind of puts me in a tough spot with an 8.5. But
I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I'm hoping for an improvement on like story and maybe world building. I would like that a little bit more.
I definitely do think there's more. Yeah, there's more going on in the next one at the very least. But and there's definitely some iconic moments that I'm still waiting for.
I don't know about any of these. I will admit is a movie I knew a little bit about because there's a YouTuber that I watched did like a reaction review to it like a year or two ago. So I remember some of the stuff from that, but like actually getting able to watch it in full was really fun. So the other ones I know literally nothing about other than the name.
Yeah, and it's a movie that you never would take a critical eye to, you know, only knowing it growing up. So it's not like I know like from the discourse, like, oh, this is definitely the best one. It all goes downhill from here. I know a couple of things, but you know, so it'll be a fun little journey for our Halloween season, and definitely different from what we've done in the past.
Well, we have our villain returning, so I'm curious to see what Calvar's true plan of revenge really is. What is it? Yeah.
No, that's a Tarqaron score of 7.75. Okay, pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's better than a lot. It's better than a lot of movies we've reviewed.
It's better than. Speaking of which, Zach, it's better than a certain movie that we watched recently. What's something that the fine folks here should go take a look at? Maybe Disney related.
A movie that we watched recently, like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Definitely go watch Pinocchio. Pinocchio is scarier in this movie.
Maybe don't go watch it, but you could watch a review where we kind of definitely didn't hold back.
Not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart.
Not for the faint of heart. No, it's not.
Yeah, go watch our Pinocchio review. All right, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, and click the links in our description for our social media. Okay.
All right. This is an opera mask after all, so.
And a happy Halloween season to you and yours.